Today we have the district PRM, Terrence, who is going to be talking to us about how we can use the Toastmasters brand to promote our clubs. Terrence, please tell us a bit about your Toastmasters journey.
Thank you, PQD, Robert Karanja. Now, I joined Toastmasters in 2020. That was way before we heard about COVID. For the first few meetings, I just attended as someone who was curious about the organization, just to see, is it really what I heard about before, or was it something slightly different? Because from my imagination, I thought Toastmasters was about competing. It was about just shining and outdoing everyone in the meeting. And that's the perception I had. But when I attended my first meeting, I saw the way I was expecting, for instance, when someone got stuck in mid-speech, I thought someone would start laughing or something like that. But I was surprised that that was not happening. So I got more surprises and I said, this is the place I need to be because I can grow and I can make mistakes without being afraid. Thank you.
Thank you so much for pointing that aspect about a Toastmasters club. And I think it is one of the things that attracts people to our clubs, that aspect of it being a safe place where you can grow as a public speaker and as a leader by making mistakes. And I think that is part of what our brand at Toastmasters is. But before we go into talking about how we can leverage our brand, maybe you can speak about what exactly is a brand and what are its different aspects.
Thank you. Most of the time when we hear about a brand, we think about the logo and maybe sometimes the colors and the fonts and such things. But the brand is much bigger than just those visual elements. I would define the brand as the overall identity of, for instance, in our case, Toastmasters International. You'll notice I'm not talking about Toastmasters District 114. I'm not talking about Alibirds or SEMA Toastmasters Club. Simply because Toastmasters International is the brand that gave birth to all these other parts of it, like the clubs and all those. So when I define the brand, I'm talking about its image, its reputation, its experience, and what people associate that name with. For now, you can see we are celebrating 100 years of being in existence as Toastmasters. So with this brand, everything that goes into this brand, for instance, we can talk about our clubs, our experience, all of it is expected to conform to what has been happening and what has been improved over the time to this point where we are. And yes, that's what I can say. And it has very, very many elements. For instance, I mentioned the logo, those are the visual elements. The colors, the logo, the fonts. Then, of course, we have our core values, and then messaging and the tagline, which is where leaders are made. So anytime you hear where leaders are made, without even looking, you expect that is a Toastmasters event or Toastmasters activity. Thank you, and back to you.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, you captured it quite well, that it is a brand is the identity of the organization. And over the last 100 years, we have created a very powerful identity all over the world. And so our clubs don't need to start trying to create an identity for themselves. They can plug into this existing identity and get the benefits of that reputation that Toastmasters has built over the years. So why is it important for an organization to have a brand?
Have the brand because it builds on several things. One is credibility, then attracting new members, and of course, unifying us as a global community. In our sense, when I talk about building trust and recognition, anytime someone sees Toastmasters, they expect a certain kind of approach. They expect a certain experience. I have had an experience, for instance, in a club where someone jetted in from the USA and came and attended the physical meeting. He was not lost at all because what he expected or what is done at the international level is the same thing that was done at the club level. So he was able to follow along and participate. That brings, or it builds trust and recognition. For instance, when someone now says in his CV that I'm a Toastmaster, we know what a Toastmaster means. On the second part, attracting new members. It's those things that we stand for. It's the image and the identity that we stand for that brings more people along. For instance, someone could be looking for a place to grow as a public speaker and as a leader. And we all know where leaders are made. That's Toastmasters. To be the first point of contact or the first place where someone would think to come and learn those skills. And of course, unifying us as a global community, it simply means whatever is done at the international level is also done at the club level, so that each and every experience can be experienced, or each and every experience can be comparable to what we are there, or what we are espoused to as Toastmasters. For instance, that compassionate feedback and the care that is given to a member, the mentorship, and all that pertains to that experience. We expect, or the international organization has created that platform, and as clubs and districts, we're expected to also replicate the same. Thank you. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, going back to the fact that we are celebrating 100 years as Toastmasters, it means that we have 100 years of experience in meeting the needs of the people who are going to come to our clubs. And so when we all have the same brand, when we all have the same format where people can come to our clubs and get that Toastmasters experience that you can get anywhere in the world, you can be assured that your members are going to be satisfied, and it's going to be quite easy for you to attract new members to your club. And so going further in talking about the Toastmasters brand, who does our brand target, and who is responsible for the brand at our clubs?
Thank you. That question is quite important, because the brand is what we say and what we say we do. Now, for the target, we are talking about where leaders are made. We are looking at individuals and corporations where members want to develop their leadership and communication skills in a supportive and conducive environment. So those are our target markets. So most of the time, you'll find we have clubs based on interests. We have corporate clubs. So based on interest, you could have a club made up of members who are hikers. Then corporate clubs, you can have clubs where members are drawn from a corporate society. We can talk about KRA and some banks which have corporate clubs in Kenya. Then when we look at now just the general individual who wants to get an environment for development, we look at other clubs which are community clubs. So they are based on maybe location or general interests. When we look at who is supposed to uphold the values and the brand and carry it forward, I would say it's all members of the district. So if you're a member of any club, remember this responsibility falls on you, because the experience that someone expects of a club, it is not experienced with an outsider, it's an experience with a member of the club. So that simply means using the official materials, using the official communication, communicating in the voice and tone that is encouraged, espousing the core values of Toastmasters, and so on and so forth. But above that, club officers and district officers are also expected to really uphold this, because they have a specific responsibility to ensure that we follow the brand guidelines. So this also includes, like in our case as the PR managers, which includes ensuring that we adhere to the brand guidelines that now comes to the colors, logo, fonts, and such things. But overall, it's for everyone to ensure that we are there and represent the Toastmasters brand.
Absolutely. I like how you captured that. Even though our clubs seem to be different, the corporate clubs, the different community clubs that are based in different parts of our cities and our countries seem to be different, but at the heart of it, we are all targeting those people who are looking for a safe space where they can grow as public speakers and as leaders. And so when people come to our clubs, each of us is responsible for projecting that brand that Toastmasters has developed over the last 100 years. And whenever we are creating material for Toastmasters, I think, yeah, just emphasizing what you just said, all of us are responsible for making sure that it follows the brand. And maybe a follow-up to that is, how would a club be disadvantaged when it does not follow the Toastmasters brand?
Imagine being part of a big tree, but simply because you are off the trunk, no one can tell that you are a tree. That is the experience that you get to have. In this case, we have an organization that has a heritage for the last 100 years. Anytime you go off the brand, you risk losing that connection to the mothership, if I may call it that. Apart from that, it also creates confusion. You can imagine seeing some pink and some other colors which are not within our brand colors appearing on a communication. First and foremost, you'll dismiss it as non-Toastmasters communication, and it may be pertinent information to your experience or your membership or something else that is important to you. That means you may lose on that. Another thing, it's about trust. Working with a brand that has been there for over 100 years, it simply means we have been consistent and the passion has grown over the years. Each and every time someone deviates from this consistency, we can't trust that they are going to uphold the values of Toastmasters, or they are going to create the same experience as Toastmasters, and therefore we lose out on that. And of course, last but not least, it's a missed opportunity for anyone who deviates from the brand. Imagine being given all those resources that are easy to copy and easy to follow, easy to copy and paste and just create the materials, and easy to adhere to. And you as a person, you go outside that guideline. It's a really missed opportunity, leveraging on 100 years of experience and all these members in all these clubs across the world. So it allows us to leverage on the global reputation of Toastmasters above just the trust and consistency that I've mentioned. Thank you.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Definitely. When you you need to work even harder than you will be leveraging and can be easily repurposed material. For example, once I learned that just following the fonts that are prescribed by Toastmasters, using the exact images that they prescribe, it is so easy to create a beautiful poster without having to put too much effort into it.
Yes, we have these resources at our disposal, and it's much easier to use them than to go off the brand manual. And of course, one may ask themselves, how do you get these resources and how do we ensure that we comply? It's very simple. In our case, for our district website, that is www.district114.org, you can get the brand guidelines under the resources tab. And you can even go ahead and get templates in case you need to design, or you need to, yes, you need to edit and design something for your club or for an activity within the district. And it's so easy for you to get a peer to review it. For instance, a fellow VPPR or someone in your club just to see that you are complying with the brand manual. And over and above, each and every member of the district is expected to give feedback on the same, so that in case you're going off the brand, it's easy for you to get back on target. And as I mentioned, so there are many resources like on the district website. I know some clubs have gone ahead and put the same link, so you can get that information on that. And of course, our mother resource is under www.toastmasters.org/resources. That's where you can get all those resources together with other branding or brand-related material to guide you and support you. Thank you. Back to you, Robert.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Terrence, for all this information. Absolutely. And I think just to wrap up, a lot of material has already been created by Toastmasters International, material that is easy to use, material that will guarantee that you have the best professional looking communication when you're putting out communication out there. And so falling back on the brand, following the Toastmasters brand is going to ensure that you're leveraging 100 years of reputation, of experience, of proven public speaking and leadership programs that have been proven to work for different people. And so following the guidelines is going to make your PR and your membership building work so much easier. Thank you so much, Terrence, for your time and for sharing the.
Thank you, PQD Robert. It's been indeed a pleasure to be part of this. And I thank all clubs and all leaders in the clubs for according me this opportunity to share the same. And I wish you all the best even as we fly the Toastmasters flag high. Thank you.